On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, Matt and Nick will get you ready for the debut of Andor Season 2. They'll lay down what they hope to see as Star Wars fans, while also providing plot predictions on what they think Lord Gilroy will actually give said fans. B2 becomes K2, Sheev makes a cameo, how about Galen Erso? Tune in to find out what the dudes think Andor S2 will give fans over the course of its 12 episodes. And of course, they'll end the show with the question of the week responses and the latest Star Wars fan art features. Punch it, Chewie. Hey, now, everybody! We got a new setup, so that means something is going to break today, and the cast will probably suck ass, but that's how we roll. Hey, can everyone hear Nick? Let's at least get that squared away.
Can people hear me? Because clearly I have a new microphone. I have a new microphone. Goodness. We're using a new setup. We're trying to break everything today.
I know. We're like, hey, let's not piecemeal this transition from Skype to Video Ninja. Let's fucking throw in all sorts of wrenches. So yeah, we did a test Friday, and then Nick replaced all of his equipment over the weekend.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? We tested this and it works fine. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a new microphone. I'm going to use new earphones instead of the regular headphones.
That's right. I didn't even notice that. I mean, Nick, you really did. You fully, I mean, damn it. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't rebuild your rig. You might as well just replace everything at this point.
It's coming. It's coming. I'm just going to do everything from scratch, everything new.
All right. Well, Nick, they're loving it. They're saying, B-Mad's saying you're looking clear too. I guess I'm too loud. Yeah, let us know like how our levels are at, because that's one thing I know gets a little janky between Nick and I talking to each other and then going out to you all. So if levels are off where I'm just completely dominating Nick more than usual, let me know and I'll pump them up a little bit. But yeah, we had a fun little tech test on Friday. Mando Pirate helped us out. We did kind of a loosey-goosey unlisted live stream just to see how that went. So all right, thanks B-Mad, appreciate it.
Audio sounds good.
So yeah, we're here.
Go, man.
We're on a new platform. It's pretty awesome. It's open source. You gotta love that if you're a developer. It's called VDO Ninja. Gotta give the guy a plug. He's an absolute all-star when it comes to creating free shit to use for live streams like this. So when you see this pop-up come up on the live stream, B-Mad's comment there, that again is from the same developer. So his name's Steve Squinn. He is a Mac daddy. I mean, he's like one of these good people in life that needs to be recognized. Hey there, Divided Skywalker. Hey now, hi now. I like that. Michael Kramer saying we look fresh, we look clean, we are good to go. All right, people, it is time. We are pre-gaming for Andor Season 2 today, but not yet. Of course, we're going to get through our usual schedule of events. Ask us anything. Pop talk. We got some Star Wars news that literally popped up right before we went live, so we'll discuss all that type of stuff, because there's always time for Star Wars time. But I'll tell you what, man, at the end of the show last week, Nick and I were... we were kind of setting up the plans for Andor coverage, and it's rough, my friends. Like, we are staring down a gauntlet of content to cover over the next 4 weeks, and it's one of those times where I start to question what I do in life and if it's worth ruining a hobby I've loved since I was 3 years old. I think that ship has sailed. I've already kind of ruined Star Wars for myself because of Star Wars time, but this Andor juggernaut has just been kind of eating at my soul a little bit, thinking about the sheer amount of time that's going to have to go into covering this thing. So we agreed, at least for week 1, to do the slog. To Tuesday night, eat 2+ hours of content, break it down. I'll put out my video Wednesday afternoon. We'll be here Wednesday evening to break it down live. And kind of based on numbers, both on my video and who just fucking shows up on a Wednesday live, we may reevaluate how we cover Andor. I don't know what that'll mean. I don't know if it'll be me covering it or we don't do the show live. We record it Wednesday and then post it on a Friday to give people a chance to kind of catch up. Because I don't know if you all have really thought about this. I know our perspective is a bit different because we are planning to make content out of 2+ hours of Andor shit a week. But even you all, if you think about your life, I mean, are you really going to carve out 2.5 hours every Tuesday to get this done so you don't get stuff spoiled for you on Wednesday or so you could listen to us Wednesday evening? I don't know. It's a big ask. It's a big ask. And I don't want to get into it yet with Nick because we have a specific question from one of you about this schedule and why it's happening. And I know Nick will enlighten us there, but it's gonna be a slog. It's gonna be 4 weeks of Star Wars pain. And I kind of wish that wasn't the case. I wish I wasn't such a freak that felt like everyone needed to hear my opinion on new Star Wars. So we'll see. If my breakdown bombs out, I think I'm going to scrap those for the season, and we'll just stick to the lives here.
Mike's dropping some dollar bills.
All right, that means we go right to Kramer. You know how we are. We are HOs over here. So if you throw some cash,
we're shills, baby.
Yeah, we will
the money.
Highlight you. So he's asking here, do you think Andor sets the standard for Star Wars series, young Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. I mean, I know I talk a lot of shit about Andor just because I enjoy angering the Tony Gilroy fans, but I mean, I think quality wise, I think it's super up there. I think that the closest one that we've had in terms of quality to Andor has been Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2. I think that those are probably the next best in terms of quality. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're like setting a standard, or if you're looking at a way to say like, hey, this is the minimum level of what we want moving forward, I think that Andor is a good benchmark for that, for sure. I think that all of the series should really aspire to be at that quality level, you know?
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong. I think for just pure fandom, it's probably The Mandalorian, because it checks a few more fan boxes. It's a little more on the mystical side, where Andor completely ignores all that shit. And, you know, even though last week young Nick was like, hey, man, Andor writing, it pales and compared to the original trilogy, it sounds like he's at least giving it some credit today. So, hey, real quick, there's our boy. Props. I've been watching you. Nice little tour of Japan over there. They a lot of people, and this makes sense. I probably would have done the same if we went. Just saw that Beyond the Dune Sea is on their way. But a lot of people went out to Japan a week early just to kind of take it all in, and I applaud them for that. So I think the show starts on, the 19th? It's only going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
I think it's just the weekend, yeah. B-Matt also dropped some money on us. He says,
oh, sorry, props. We're going to the cash, bro.
You. Yeah, we will gladly support you however you decide to cover Andor. Quick cue, will this series feel rushed?
Yeah, I mean, come on, yes.
I mean, honestly, so Matt and I are going to do our patented, predictions and wants from Andor. And I think one of mine was I wanted to not feel rushed, but and really, I think what this comes down to is how you choose to consume the content, right? Like if you're gonna try to do the full block the day that it comes out, I feel like you're gonna get into a zone where it's like, Jesus, man, this feels like it's really rushing together and everything is kind of a mishmash. But if you choose to take it an episode at a time over the week, then I feel like it may not have that feeling. But I do think, I mean, at least in terms of content consumption, I do feel like it's going to feel rushed a bit just in the writing. I mean, essentially what you're doing is you're taking a plan for 4 seasons of TV and then smashing it into 4 weeks of content release. It's really hard to avoid.
And don't forget, Nick, every 3 episodes covers a year, and we don't even know what the time jumps will be between those inner episodes. Think about it. I mean, Episode 1 could take place in January. Let's just use our calendar system. Episode 2 could be fucking July of BBY, whatever BBY, 4 BBY I think would be the first year. So, I mean, Nick is correct. Even from that standpoint, it could feel rushed. And here's the deal. Every one of us, especially, I mean, Skeleton Crew, the most recent, what was our biggest complaint? Oh, my God, we want more. We want more. We want more. Well, we're about to get more. And I think we're all going to realize that maybe more isn't necessarily the cadence we're looking for. I think really what we all want, and we're still going to get this with Andor, which is wild. They decided to do the 3-chunk drop because every Andor episode is what we wanted in terms of runtime, 45 to 54 minutes a pop. I think that's what fans really want. They just want back to that almost hour-long a week program. I've never been a huge fan of binging. Even when I save a series up, I still watch an episode per night. I don't just fucking go, let's run it. So it's going to be odd. It's going to be odd. I think most of us, especially the hardcore fans, are even going to be a little bit like, man, it just felt like I was consuming that through a fire hose for 4 weeks straight, and it would have been nice to spread it out. But like I said, I don't want to keep jamming on this because we have a specific question and Ask Us that will kind of take us deeper into this. Well, it looks like Sir Dork is headed over to Nippon as well. All right.
Yeah. Hey, guys, enjoy it. Enjoy the time. I mean, Japan is an amazing
it looks absolutely
country.
Perfect over there, by the way. Like, I have a feeling, I don't know if I would want to come back, especially with what's going down these days here.
Yeah.
So,
hey, you guys,
I don't want to say too much.
I'm
not even fucking off. Not just for no one wants to listen to that shit on a Star Wars show, but Big Brother is out and about big time these days. So
hey, hang out there until the Switch 2 comes out, guys, and then bring some back home for us.
Yeah, because we can't even fucking get them. Did everyone realize that? Like, Nintendo canceled U.S. pre-orders because of what's all the fun stuff going on here. Guess what else, people that listen to this show? No more shipments from Hong Kong. Guess what comes from Hong Kong? Hot toys.
Is that Hot Toys? Yeah, you're going to be paying a 245% whatever.
I'll tell you that, like, I know we're on a tangent, but I saw a notice last week from Big Bad Toy Store that essentially told all its customers, like, yo, because of what's happening with I don't even want to say it, what's happening, we're basically going to have to charge you more for even your pre-ordered shit. Ha ha! Ha! You like that?
Stuff out there.
You guys like that? So if Sideshow comes to me like, yo, these 15 Hot Toys you have, you now owe us another $150 to cover tariffs. You know what I'm going to do? Eat a dick. I'll cancel all those and I'll make them give me my fucking deposit back. So
it's tough out there for the people that enjoy imported
We're winning over here. All right, let's go.
All right.
I didn't say it, Kramer, you did. Let's do some Ask Us Anything. We do it every week to kick things off, or at least after we shoot the shit. And just follow us on our socials and figure it out. I'm telling you right now that our Instagram account's dead. So you might be better off coming to our Discord or the YouTube channel itself to do question or Ask Us Anything, because if we put something in our stories, Nick, 20 people see it in 24 hours.
It's wild. But our YouTube, Matt and I have been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. Our YouTube shorts have been getting some views. So if you're one of the people watching the YouTube shorts, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes, we thank you on that.
Your views help to increase the reach.
Let's just say Nick and I are planning to lean out Star Wars Time Show towards the end of 2025. Some platforms may be dropping. The website's definitely going away. Who knows? We might just disappear completely. So stay tuned. All right, let's get these questions up here, my man. See what the people had to say. There's not many, like I said, because Instagram has completely cut off. We used to get a good amount of questions from there, but who knows what's happening. I think they think we're communists. All right, here we go. We did get a couple, and like I said, there is a good one here for Andor stuff. So browser's going away. Baron's Black Series wants to know, coolest exclusive you've seen advertised for Celebration this year Spencer's going with the 1/6 scale Cherry Blossom Stormtrooper. I think I'll probably have to take this unless, Nick, you've seen something from like non-figure people.
Yeah, I have not seen anything in the exclusive realm, so I'll let Matt handle this one.
Yeah, I honestly, I mean, outside of the badges themselves, I'm not kidding, Nick. The badge art is fucking phenomenal. It's like traditional Japanese type of art. Then they kind of took our characters and gave them that aesthetic. I honestly think it may be the badges, Baron's Black Series. But if you want to go with actual collectibles, I think I kind of dug, and I wouldn't have gotten them because I've got too many Darth Vaders. But they're doing, Nick. It's a Hot Toys Darth Vader, but he's got like blue and red reflection coming off of him. Essentially, like he's got his lightsaber ignited, and Obi's got his ignited, and it's displaying right on the plastic. So
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, I thought that kind of stood out a little bit. So there you go. I'm not nearly as knee deep into exclusives and con exclusives as I used to be with Funko and Black Series. It's pretty much drained out of me. Like I said last week, I've got 5 Hot Toys still sitting in their boxes. So what does that say about me and how big of an asshole I am for keep buying these things when I clearly don't even get excited anymore when they show up? It's kind of stupid. You know what I mean?
Hey, all right. Spencer, Jared says Chrome Mafex Mandalorian. That's his pick.
I'm sure Sir Dork had his eye on something. He's Sir Dork is our champion. He's our big social influencer out there. He's got the big channel, cashing in thousands of views, taking sweet shots, but he's definitely still in the know when it comes to your collectibles. Make sure to hit up his channel. What is it, Jared? Just Sir Dork on YouTube, I'm guessing? Hit him up.
I think it is just Sir
B-Mad's asking, will Hot Toys resale value go up? Probably not. Where it may start going up, B-Mad, is if a lot of the newer Hot Toys never make it to America. Then you would have a black market, a supply and demand issue there. So,
hey, there you go. Keep them. If
Nick's
Hot
like,
Toys
hey,
never come back,
Nick's like, tariffs. What the fuck are you guys talking about? I don't buy toys for shit. I'm good. So who gives a shit about tariffs? Nick's like, I want to be working in an iPhone factory, screwing in tiny screws right there down in Austin.
Yeah, I know, right?
So that's the American dream. All right.
That's the dream now, baby.
Here's the question, right, Nick. This is the one I've been teasing, coming from Nova. Nova's been really laying down the sauce these days and Ask Us Anything. But Nova's asking, and this is specifically for young Nick, I'm requesting a patented Nick breakdown as to why Disney decided to release Andor S2 in 3 episode drops. Is it due to subscribers signing up then canceling once the series is over? Do they want to optimize early viewership? Is it to shorten the duration of hater vitriol so they only have to listen to them for 1 month instead of 3 months? What say you?
All right. Thank you, Nova. Thank you for this request. So you have 2 points here that I think are potentials, but one of them is definitely a bad one. So if they want, like, they should, if their fear is like people signing up and then dropping off, this is definitely the wrong move to make, because typically what you see is with a show that spans 12 weeks, then people will stay subscribe the whole 12 weeks, and then you get 3 months of payment instead of 1 month of payment. So in this respect, they're definitely losing what is called user or viewer retention. Their viewer retention is going to go down because people are just going to unsub after a month if they're only here for Andor. That's just how it's going to go. But what they also may be trying to fight here is the other thing that you've mentioned, is optimizing for early viewership. So what they've likely seen with Star Wars is that your viewership goes like this. It starts high and then it just goes down the whole way through. So what they may be trying to do is like, hey, instead of us losing our viewership over 12 weeks as a show is out, let's see if we can just pump it out in 4 weeks and then go like this more than like this. Like hold on to that viewership for longer, give people all the content up front, and then just allow them to watch it at their own pace, essentially doing like a mini version of what Netflix would do with a show, right? Where they just put it out and they're like, watch it at your own pace. We don't care. They're instead of doing it like that, where they just drop the whole thing and say, go for it. They'll do big chunk drops in a week and then see how viewer retention looks during that window of time. So I think in terms of like optimizing for revenue, it's a bad move because you're just inherently not going to make as much money because the show comes out in a month. But I think what they're trying to see is if they put it out like this, will the viewership stay flat throughout the entire run instead of go down? So yeah, I think you hit on a couple of points there, Nova. Good job. You've picked up some marketing knowledge from me.
Hey, Nick, League's saying she can't watch Hulu content from D+, but I can. Can you?
Like I can as well. And I don't know if it's based off of the bundle that you got, because technically I'm under the legacy bundle. Like I got the legacy bundle, like the bundle as soon as they released it. And I know that they started to transition over Hulu content early for people who did that. And I know, Matt, you were on it early too, I believe. Like I
think I just hit the bundle about 6 months ago, and I can watch ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus all through Disney Plus.
Yeah. I do think it's dependent on your bundle.
Okay, League. I got it. League just,
I don't want Hulu on Disney.
She's just like fuck this shit. Keep things separate. Yeah. All right, fair enough.
Here's what I will say. And like it may be device dependent, but Hulu's video playback service is awful in comparison to Disney Plus's. I think that Disney Plus's like video service is way better than Hulu's is.
That's a good tip.
May just be.
I just hate the fucking commercials, man. I mean, we're working through Paradise, which is an excellent show, by the way. No spoilers, please. But every time you can even see the dots on the stream bar there. It's like, fuck. There's another minute and a half of the same commercials. I guess, Nick, I could handle it better if they would at least rotate the commercials. Okay, help us out.
Yeah.
Help us out. If we're paying for these streaming apps with ads, can you get creative and like put them on a rotation so it's not just the 3 or 4 same fucking block for an hour straight?
I'm going to give you a hint, and this is what I do for a living. It's all about how, because now Disney, like the way that Disney Plus ads show up on Disney Plus is they have a self-service advertising platform that you can just go into and then set your ads up. So what is likely happening is that you're seeing the same ads over and over again because of the targeting that people have put on those ads. And those are the ones that you fall in. So unlike linear TV where it's like
all I get is Hims ad for my erectile dysfunction and overweightness being a man.
So do we. We get Hims and Hers ads all the fucking time. And I'll tell you why. Because those people are spending a shitload of money on that platform. So they're just hitting everybody.
All right, Nick, speaking of money, we got some money coming in from BMAD. Again, for the expert here. Nick, how much, if you had to guess, is Disney CPM total?
CPM. So, I mean, like, I've never advertised on the platform, so I can't give you any inside information on that. But I would imagine that their CPMs are pretty low. I'll say that their CPMs are pretty low given the number of subscribers that they report to have on the platform as over 120 million. But really, I mean, like CPM cost is all dependent on what your targeting is, right? Like it's all dependent on your regional targeting. So I would say that their CPM cost is probably around, dude, it can't be more than $12 CPMs depending on how you target, but it's really hard for me to say without having actually worked on that platform before.
All right. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore, but I want a PBR. We got all these 3-letter words coming out: CPM, CPR, CTR. How about a PBR? All right.
Dude, that's all that marketing is now is 3-letter acronyms.
What is CPM? Cost per million?
Cost per million, cost per milla, technically, yes. So it's your cost per 1,000 impressions. Cost per 1,000 impressions. So I would imagine.
Thank you, Bango, for pouring one out for the old soldier down there.
Go. But yeah,
I just love it. It's like every pause in Paradise is like, hey, you got a broken wiener, call up Hims. You'll get a specially configured formula to make it work again. I was like, what's going on here? Is someone inside my head or what? But Nick's telling me they're doing it on purpose. They know I'm a
I
45-year-old
say,
man. They're like, all right, he's probably fucked up. So
I will say that, oh geez. I will say that Disney Plus has a high frequency. For those of you out there who know what that means, it has a high frequency. It means that people are seeing the same ads a lot, and that's just what Matt was talking about.
I hate it. Like I hate it, and I guess it makes sense because it's a great tactic to get you just to pay for no ads. So
yeah,
but I'm holding strong.
The frequencies up.
The bundle I have through Verizon, I'm essentially stealing money from Disney. So I'll just suck it up. It is what it is. It is
there you
what
go.
It is. All right.
I always like we got one more question.
All right. Yeah. One more. One more here. One more coming from Kramer.
Mikey.
Even though you both are doing the predictions, what are you both wanting to see in season 2 of Andor? And how's life been treating you both? I also just got to Korriban and KOTOR. Since Nick's been talking a lot, I'll go ahead and lead here. You're going to get our predictions, obviously, but I'm still holding on to the one that I threw 3 years ago in 2022 when Andor S1 was out, when I said B2EMO will essentially become K2SO. I'm sticking to that as a prediction. I believe in it. If it doesn't play out, I will lose a little bit of respect for Tony. It seems like the perfect narrative, the perfect ending to B2 and the beginning of K2. It just makes so much sense. So that's my singular take it to the bank prediction.
There you go. For me, I really want to see, because like I want to see the destruction, for lack of a better term, or like the loss of life that's associated with this show, because this show, I feel like season 2 is just gonna like go on a killing spree at some point. Like we already know the Gorman massacre is coming up. We already know
there might be a few thousand people that die there.
Yeah, and we already know that essentially everybody associated with Cassian, in terms of like his friends and family from Ferrix and everywhere else, like there's no way that these people survive. Like there's no way that Bix is making it out, and Vel and all these other people, like they're gonna go, like they got to go down, right? This is, so I hope so, to see how they handle the body count.
Remember, we had the same discussion before Bad Batch season 3, and we're like, this and that, and they gotta go, and Dave and team, they're like, you really, guys? Double bird, eat my balls.
It's like, guess what? We're not killing anybody. In fact,
no one's dying.
People back from the dead. We're bringing dead people back.
Nobody's dying here. So, yeah. Hey, you know something I finally figured out? One of the Andor trailers we were breaking down, and we saw a lot of Phyrexians, as we called them, on this grassy planet. You know what it is? It's not the whole planet. It's the 4 people that made it out at the end of Andor season 1. It's Bix, Brasso, Willman, and I think the other guy's like Pega or Pelga or something like that. So that's why those people are on the other planet. And now, Nick, I'm starting to think that the wheat planet, if you will, where we see the Phyrexians, could that be, I know we were thinking Lothal, could that be Dantooine? Who knows? We know Dantooine's kind of farmy looking, right? From SWTOR or KOTOR, so.
Yeah, I mean, from SWTOR, I think, like, for sure, like, if I'm remembering correctly from Dantooine, SWTOR times where there was a shitload of daily missions you had to do, it was like a relatively, like, golden wheat field type of planet, So yeah, it could be Dantooine, and obviously that's the one planet that we haven't seen that was prominently mentioned in the OT, specifically during that scene with the Death Star. Yeah, so there you go. Obviously we want to see what the first Rebel base looks like. Heck yeah. But is the first Rebel base just like 8 tents set up for fucking the 25 people who are hanging out there? Like, who knows?
Yeah, so we'll see. We got plenty more predictions coming to you. We also got our fan ones coming up here. How's life been treating you both? Life's life. I don't really want to go into it because I could say something that's going to upset somebody or get me deported, so we'll just leave it at that. Mental health's a real thing. Take care of yourself, okay?
take care of your mental health.
Yeah, yes, keep your head on a swivel, my friends. That's all I'll tell you. All right, so that is it for Ask Us Anything. Not many this week, but that's all right because we've got some extra newsy type of items to talk about after this week's Pop Talk. You know, we got a Bango. I'm kind of with you. Bango wants a Star Wars version of Omaha Beach from Saving Private Ryan. Well, I'd like to talk about a new movie about war. In fact, what we'd call modern warfare. The movie itself is called Warfare. And I have to tell you, everyone, that this may now be the greatest war movie of all time, just due to its sheer authenticity. One of the guys that made it is an Iraq war veteran, Ray Mendoza. He worked on it with Alex Garland, who did Civil War and some other big stuff. And he set out to make this movie for veterans, for his team that was on this mission with him. Specifically, one of the characters who gets injured and he gets so fucking destroyed that he physically doesn't even remember the mission anymore. So that was one of the reasons Ray made this movie, was to just remind his brother in arms, like, yo, this is what we went through. This is why you look the way you look right now, and this is why you can't remember that day at all. And it is the most intense portrayal of what these poor boys, young kids, go through when they are sent to war. It's disturbing to see the situations they were being put in Iraq, and the leadership kind of not giving them what they need, and just how nutty things could get in the flick of a finger because of modern warfare and the technology and the movement of Al-Qaeda. It's about a Navy SEAL mission that happened in 2006 in the Ramadi area of Iraq, where SEALs had to kind of go in and scout the town before a battalion of Marines could move through. And they actually ended up setting up right in the heart of where the terrorists were staying. And, obviously shit gets squirrely, and it's just so lifelike. Like, I've never been in war. I'm a big pussy. I never served. But I would have to imagine, if you have and you watch this movie, you're probably going to go, yeah, this is exactly how it is. Fuck everything, all these other Hollywood movies. This is what it's like to be in a firefight. And Nick, there's no music the entire movie outside of the start, because they watch the video they always watch before they go on a mission in the barracks. Outside of that, zero music. It's just you're listening to the radio chatter, the horrors of war, men screaming out, bloody murder. It's an experience. It's an experience.
Yeah.
Is what I'd say. It's funny, Mad. I've never even seen Black Hawk Down, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be better than it, because it's not a Hollywood war movie. Yes, Hollywood produced it and helped make it, but this Ray Mendoza was literally, he's in the Navy SEALs. He wanted to make the movie, and he wanted to make it for veterans. He's like, I don't give a fuck about anyone else. I made this for my brothers. So I know Black Hawk Down is good. Tells a pretty crazy event that happened, but this, it's even more authentic than Saving Private Ryan, which is one of the most authentic World War II movies ever. There's no bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all warfare and what these dudes dealt with. So
Alex Garland is definitely a very interesting director, and has taken on some pretty cool projects. Ex Machina was his first movie that he ever directed, and if you haven't seen,
oh my god, that's him.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. And then he just did Civil War. What did he do before Civil War, though?
He did. So Ex Machina was his first, and then Annihilation, if you've seen that, 2018.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
That was another one that was, just very visually interesting director. Narratively, he's also written a lot of cool stuff. He wrote Dread. If you've ever seen the Danny Boyle movie Sunshine, he wrote that. I really enjoy Sunshine. I think Sunshine is a great movie. And then if you remember the Devil May Cry game from 2013, he also wrote that. Damn, which is interesting.
Look at Nick
to put
with
on
the
his
facts
resume.
on Alex Garland. Holy shit.
Yeah. So really cool guy. Like his stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know if war movies are all your thing. I think just as an American citizen that has benefited from our brothers and sisters in arms, you owe it to them to go watch this. I'll leave it at that. I don't know if you care about professional critic ratings, but it's like a 94%. I mean, it's damn near perfect. Derpy Entertainment, did you get your tickets for Revenge of the Sith? I have not yet. I'm not where I live. I'm not necessarily worried about missing out on the event. I know Nick he's planning on lining up because that's his favorite movie. So,
yeah, I mean, right now, I don't think that you have to do it. You know, it would be cool. I mean, we have a drive-in theater near us.
That would be a good venue for Rots, I think.
Yeah, I think it would be cool because that's how I introduced Taylor to
open air
Star
bong
Wars,
rips,
the
right?
OT.
If you get bored, start ripping the bong. It's no big deal.
You're sitting on the sitting on the tailgate, eating some popcorn, smoking some green.
That actually does sound like fun. So maybe hopefully you get out and report back on doing that because that would be enticing.
We'll see if they have it. Yeah.
I might check it out. Maybe I'll get EKU Rory, see if I get his ass out of the house. Go check out.
He's got to come in the full Jar Jar get up.
Exactly.
Like we need a photo of Rory,
or at least wearing his Jar Jar underwear. B-Mad's asking if this guy, as in Alex Garland, made a Star Wars film of stormtroopers, would it be peak? Yeah, I think it would be pretty good.
Ooh, gosh, that would be fantastic, honestly.
And actually treat them as competent soldiers, not just boobs.
Yeah, I really like his filmmaking. So I didn't see Civil War because honestly, it was just like
you definitely don't want to watch it now. Now it's even more too real to life. So just keep staying away, buddy.
that was my initial thought when I saw it. I was like, I can't do it.
No.
So
I can support that decision for you.
All of his other films, I've seen them. I've enjoyed them. I love his visual style. His presentation is always very unique. And I think that if you're really trying to be experimental with Star Wars, I think you're going to be surprised to hear this from me, even a Clone Wars era film from him that shows you that grittiness, I think would be
what, Nick?
Good.
You're probably right. It probably would be better if it were clones because the clones truly had that brotherhood that you see with our soldiers. Yeah. So I think you might be on the okay. All right. Oh, look, he's here. Mr. Smith himself. All right, while he's in here.
Says he's in.
Got to do a little showcase again. He's Mr. Creative. I showed you my Luthen panel a few months ago. Here's EKU's Rory's latest creations.
Look at that.
It's like a 3D printed kind of 3D Vader thingy. It's pretty neat, right? Isn't that cool? He's got these are like Vader heads, and then these are lightsabers, and then obviously it's the shape of Vader, and you can see it's just a bunch of, I'm guessing.
Does he?
Go ahead.
Does he sell these items? Are these for sale somewhere?
Never know.
Does he have an Etsy shop?
He might have made a sale the last time I showed something like this off. So you never know. He says I need better light.
Needs better light. This guy's telling
I'm already fucking it up. Look at him. He's like, you dickhead, it doesn't look good enough. Put a spotlight on it.
Free press.
There, look at that. That's cool. See, there's like little Vader helmets inside underneath lightsabers. I mean, I like it. I just have it sitting here on my desk. I mean, maybe you could do like a sticker on the back and slap them on the wall. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Put yourself an Etsy shop up there, Rory, and we can get you 2 sales maybe.
Bro, you know how many years I've been working on him to do that? The guy could be a fucking millionaire on a side hustle, but he's too righteous. He's a follower of Christ. They call him Jesus Part 2.
There
right. Here we go. Oh, we got it's Jesus's resurrection this weekend. I forgot since I stopped going to church many years ago.
Easter coming up.
Who cares? Okay. Here's this one just came hot off the press. We have moved into our Star Wars content, my friends. Finally, there's always time for it, and we're here to cover it. But this just dropped. We got a hot rumor coming from the insider Jeff Snyder, who is usually pretty spot on. But he is saying that Mikey Madison, who just won the Oscar for, what was that, Andor, Nick?
Andor,
where
yes,
she played
yes,
a
indeed.
stripper that was in love with a Russian oligarch's son. has been cast or is being considered. She's being eyed for a role in Sean Levy's Star Wars movie, which at this point in time, everyone's just running with Ryan Gosling is the star of. So if this happens, Nick, not only going to have a superstar in Ryan Gosling, but now you're going to have this up-and-comer who just, rocked the award season for Andor and Mikey Madison. So as we were talking before, this is kind of a whole new approach to casting for Star Wars, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, probably the most famous person that's ever been cast in Star Wars was Sam Jackson.
Yes.
Obviously people know Sam, but this was Sam pre Nick Fury. So like he hadn't even reached like the peak of his fame yet.
It was Jules Sam. It's almost like when he was having the resurgence, right? Coming off of Pulp Fiction and stuff like that.
Exactly. So really the way that Star Wars has been viewed in terms of casting has always been like, hey, we will make you a star. Like Star Wars will make you a star. And they were able to do that in the OT. Specifically for Harrison, and then to a lesser degree for Mark and Carrie. I think that they didn't get the boost, the boom that Harrison got. But recently, Star Wars has really been a fame killer. If you kind of look at it, like Hayden Christensen is this hot young actor who comes into Star Wars. He has a lot of buzz behind him. He was
up for a Golden Globe before Star Wars.
Nominated for awards, and then Star Wars comes out and then falls off a cliff. If you look at even the prequel or even the sequel trilogy, I mean, Daisy Ridley had some stuff, but really never popped like people expected. John Boyega has really made his career his own. He's like, look,
and even he's cooled off recently.
Yeah, and I mean, even Oscar Isaac. I mean, Oscar Isaac was probably the biggest person cast in that trilogy out of everybody who was brought in, other than the already known faces from Star Wars. And Oscar has kind of quieted down a bit as well. So I think what they're realizing now is that, like, hey, viewership is tied to popularity of the people in the movies. Like Minecraft popped off because the property itself is popular, and you had huge names like Jack Black and Jason Momoa in it. Like people know those people. So this is
Chicken
a very
zombie
new way to handle it.
I looked into it, Nick. Apparently people were acting like criminals. I mean, I saw some of the videos. It's atrocious. Like this is why I hate fucking like social media.
Huge bags of popcorn.
Dude,
like
I mean, think about the poor fuckers that work there making $6 an hour. Like, just people are vomits because of social media fame or the potential to get 15 minutes of fame. But you know why they're doing it, Nick? Why it was such a big deal? Apparently, the spawn rate for that thing was like 0.04% in the game. So it was like almost never seen. And there you go. That's the reaction. So that humanity is broken. I fucking hate all of us. Thank you.
They are reacting appropriately, I guess.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. I mean, having a megastar in Gosling and then an up-and-comer that kind of has some cachet now. We still have no idea what this movie could be about, outside that it's going to be set in the sequel trilogy timeline, and it's not going to kind of directly...
Post-Tross.
Correct, post-Tross, and it's not going to really directly involve Tross storylines, although there is a potential, you might hear about Rey, or Rey might make a cameo. So I don't know. I think Sean's kind of built up some trust with fans over the years with his movies, work on Deadpool, the Adam Project. I mean, he's no schmo. So I'm excited for this one. But as with anything Star Wars cinema, I will not believe it until I get a fucking trailer. So it's not real to me at this point in time.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors out there. I mean, everything that we've heard about this movie technically is a rumor. The Ryan Gosling casting, Mikey Madison rumor. There's also a rumor that it is coming sooner than we expect. So who knows? Who knows what's happening with this film? But I do like the direction that they're taking with casting more recognizable faces, people that will bring out theater audiences with just their presence in the film. So I'm interested to see how that does for a Star Wars movie, and if it brings in potentially more people than you would think.
Yeah, they
So
almost need to
we'll see.
just pull the Band-Aid off and somehow convince like a Tom Cruise to do it. Like, say what you want about Tom, the guy can fill theaters. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
MI's
he
coming
brings
out in
people
May.
out.
You know it's going to make some cash. So
Yeah. So
I think
I mean,
even
we'll
Goofy
see.
Tom would sell some Star Wars
I
tickets.
mean, honestly, you want to bring in the cashola, you get Timothy Chalamet in Star
Yeah,
Wars.
dude, Chalamet all the way. Let's go.
Yeah, this guy brings in the dollar bills. So let's start a petition here, a campaign. Cast Timothy Chalamet in the
Right, because
next Star
he'll
Wars
bring his
film.
Kardashian juice with him, and they'll spread the word on their social empire. Hey, real quick here, guess what? If you guys listened to the Star Wars Time Show, you would have known about this a couple weeks ago. But here it is. They just had to blow their wad, Nick. They couldn't wait for the 19th when they were
I
supposed to
know,
fully
right?
reveal everything at Celebration because shit was leaking. We had screens
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, the title last week, and now here it is. It's official on StarWars.com. The game coming from BitReactor and Respawn is, just like we said last week, Star Wars Zero Company, and it is a turn-based strategy game. We've got one image for it. I'll zoom in a little bit. Looks like you kind of got a smuggler type, a Jedi type, some dude wearing a fucking clone helmet, a Mandalorian, and an astromech. And what would you call the dude all the way to the left, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this looks
Like an
like Garrus
alien?
Vakarian. It looks like Garrus from Mass Effect, except obviously the
Oh,
alien
yeah,
species
yeah,
is
you're
different.
right. He's wearing a fucking
The
a domed helmet, yeah.
That dome helmet and that armor setup looks so much like Garrus.
Yeah,
It's
well, I mean,
crazy.
he looks to be kind of what your sniper class, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
like scout recon class,
yeah,
something like that,
I
maybe.
don't know if they're saying we're gonna have 6 total classes, but that's kind of what it's looking like. The astromech clearly is gonna have their own skill set. A clone trooper, they'll probably be like a heavy. The scoundrel, they'll probably be like a tactician. The Jedi, obviously they're gonna be close quarters combat type of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, listen, I know we're making fun of this, but I'm kind of excited. I'm not kidding. Like, this is the one thing that we just don't know everything about. There hasn't really been there's never been a Star Wars game of this game type, turn-based strategy
Yep.
like XCOM. So I think this could end up being a fantastic game to chew on for a little bit if done right.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that expanding genres for Star Wars video games is super important because we've always typically been in that like Battlefront third person shooter type of arena or RPG like KOTOR or something like that. Action adventure as well with the Jedi Knight series stuff. So adding in a tactical, combat style of game like this, like turn-based tactical combat, I think it would be interesting. And given Bit Reactor's background, given the fact that XCOM is already a super popular game franchise, if you can essentially market this as like, hey, Bit Reactor is the company that made XCOM. I know it's not for Axis, but this is the company that did it. These are the guys that did it. So I think it's a good genre expansion, and I think it will give Star Wars fans something fresh, which is something that we always need
Yeah, yeah,
is some
totally.
fresh Star Wars content.
I'm hoping it kind of borrows a bit from Gears Tactics, which is the Gears of War turn-based strategy game that was really really good, and it was slightly different than XCOM. I think it felt more story centric, where XCOM, I know there's a story to it, especially one that came out for console, but it felt like it was just like, who cares? I just want to.
Yeah.
The fun was
To
clearing the maps versus learning more about the story.
Yeah. To me, this one, Star Wars Zero Company, feel if you're gonna make like a direct XCOM kind of comparison, if people have ever played it, it was called XCOM Chimera Squad, which was like a bit smaller in terms of like the number of units you could use
Yeah, you're
because your
kind of locked
units.
in.
Yeah. So it's not as wide ranging, but it is a little bit
Yeah,
more focused on
I
like
think you're on to
that
something
character.
there. I think you're right. I mean, and it may just, these are the characters you can choose for each mission, where some XCOMs, they're more generic. It's like, oh, I'll take kind of more of a tanky guy, more of a sniper guy, more of an assault guy, and then you could kind of rotate them out. You could almost have like a first string, a second string, that type of stuff. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
This one is getting dropped 419 JST. As we learned from props, they're essentially 12 hours ahead of us. So it'll be 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. I will not be up to watch that.
No, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff going on this weekend. I mean, if you're into the WWE stuff, this is it. This is WrestleMania weekend, and they literally have coverage from Friday through Sunday, but because it's in Vegas, it's all West Coast time. So they're like, oh yeah, watch the Hall of Fame ceremony at 10 o'clock PST. I'm like, no, I'm not 10 o'clock PST. That's 1 in the fucking morning over here. So I'm old. Leave me alone. There's gonna be too much stuff coming at me this week. I can tell between Celebration and WrestleMania. It's gonna be too much pop culture. I know. I am a whiny white bitch. All right, moving on. I'm literally bitching about having too much entertainment news. What a loser. All right, we got another one. Man, there's a bunch of little newsy stuff here. We're not going to spend too much time on it because there's really not a lot of details. But Lord Gilroy himself, and this has come from Bespin Bulletin via Business Insider. We're using Bespin Bulletin because Business Insider makes you pay to look at their website. So anyways, Tony's out doing all his promo, Nick. And I just, like, out of nowhere, he drops like, oh, hey, I guess someone asked him about a Star Wars horror project, and he's like, oh yeah, hey, they're already doing that. I think they're doing that. I think that's in the works. Yeah. So Tony's just like shitting on people's hidden projects if it is a thing, or is he just being Tony?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Tony out here just giving away other people's projects that are being worked on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure that, when you're in the building, you hear about other stuff that's in the works and you understand like what's in process. So you're not crossing lines or you're not crossing stories and everything like that. So I think it's cool. I mean, I think that Star Wars is such a wide reaching type of property that you could definitely make a horror show work. Back in the day in the Legends era, there were novels written that were like horror novels around like zombie stormtroopers and stuff like that. And now that you've introduced the Night Sisters into official canon with Ahsoka and obviously
literally
Clone Wars, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, you could do that style of show. You could focus on that more like horrific element of resurrection with zombie troopers, or like really delving into like the dark magics that occur with the Night Sisters. So I think that there's some stuff there. Yeah, Death Troopers, that was the book, Bango.
I mean, listen, I love horror. It's one of my favorite genres. Even to this day, I went and watched fucking Screamboat 2 weeks ago. That's how hardcore I am into like picking up some new horror action. But I don't know. To me, in Star Wars, it's going to have to be done perfectly. I mean, absolutely perfectly for it to resonate with me in particular. I just don't. I know we've got zombies. I know we've got space witches and all this stuff. It's a genre that I struggle to loop into Star Wars. Alien, sure. Predator, sure. It all makes sense in those franchises. But for me, and I'm talking about me, okay? Remember, opinions. It's I don't know. It makes me a little itchy. So we'll see if
I can see that
if it comes out or not. But is it going to be a live action? Is it going to be a Lego cartoon, a regular cartoon? Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. Definitely interested to see if this is one real, two, if we ever see it. Like it could, like the thing is like it could be real, internally real, but it may never see the light of day because of whatever,
Yeah, if anyone's watching the studio with Seth Rogen, it's like that. Maybe they just buy it up and kind of put it to bed. That is a great show, by the way. It's a great show. I mean, I've always been a fan of Seth Rogen. I think he's highly entertaining, super witty.
This is on Max, right? The studio's on Max?
No, it's Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Whatever the hell it's TV Plus, whatever it is. But it is he's essentially playing a new studio head and just what it's like to to run a studio, and there's all sorts of like Ron Howard's in episode 3. It's pretty well done. Plus, his interview with Stern to pump the show was one of the greatest conversations I've heard someone talking about doing drugs in my entire life. Like I love listening to other people talk about their drug experiences, the fun sides of it, the downsides of it. It's thoroughly entertaining to me. And Rogan obviously is a storyteller, the good Rogan, and he's funny as fuck. So, all right. Speaking of Predator, we are getting Samurai plus Predator. Yeah, I think that's coming to Hulu. So that should be interesting. I told everyone we just
plus Predator.
Yeah, it's an animated series, Nick. I believe coming to Hulu over the summer. That's going to involve, I believe, Predator. Which,
dude, it's like you can throw predators in anything and it just makes it cooler. Predators are just fucking cool
awesome,
characters.
Man. They really are. I mean, I know all the movies aren't really connected and some of them are a little wonky, but I just did a rewatch with the kid and she was thoroughly entertained with every Predator movie. I did skip through the boob scene in Predator 2.
There you go.
I'm trying to convince her it's time to move into Aliens now so we can learn
maybe
Aliens.
Maybe do the transition do AVP,
okay,
and then transition down into Aliens.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, do I give her the backstory of Aliens and then AVP her, or just since she already has the Predator connection, just loop into Aliens that way? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you might have a good point. You might have a good point.
Yeah, because I know that people shit on AVP. The second one, I agree, was terrible. I thought that the first AVP was pretty fun.
No problem,
like,
man.
I enjoyed it.
Even the second one, I know it gets a little campy. They're just like in real world neighborhood, killing regular people. But hey, whatever.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that if she's already in the Predator universe, just go straight into AVP, and then to be like, look, there's movies about these aliens too, separate movies that are just all about the aliens.
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about it, the Alien franchise, Predator franchise, that's some classic ass sci-fi. Like it's so damn 100%. Good. Even like the Prometheus stuff. If you get a chance, I mean, there's interesting stories there. Like I wish Ridley had more focused time to really tell that story of David and how he essentially created the xenomorphs and from the black goo of the engine. I love all that type of shit. All right. I digress.
Yeah.
All right, let's get through this last news item so we can start pre-gaming Andor to put this show to bed before the fan segment here, young Nick. But I think people will be happy to hear this if this is true. But apparently, Jim Cummings, if you don't know that name, hopefully you're on the live stream checking out the screen, then you'll kind of tie 1 and 1 together to make 2. But Jim Cummings is the voice of Hondo Ohnaka. And apparently, I forget, he was doing an interview for something. And he was asked about Hondo, and here's what he had to say. Yes, absolutely. Well, speaking of coming back, knock on wood, we'll see what is in store for our friend Hondo Ohnaka. And then he put on Hondo's voice, basically saying, he became Hondo and said, hey, Ohnaka Transport Solutions, blah, 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 blah. But later in the conversation, here's the juicy part. Cummings confirmed, I did the facial recognition for Hondo Ohnaka for an upcoming project, so stay tuned for that. So if he's doing facial recognition, that typically implies it might be used for live action, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to mean that, but it usually does. So if that's the case, he wasn't in Skeleton Crew. Could he be showing up in the Mando movie? Because at this point in time, Hondo is running his transport business. He's trying to be on the up and up. He's probably working out of Batuu. Batuu could be a place Mando stops by. So is this where we potentially see live action Hondo for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, the Mando movie has the opportunity to bring in a lot of these animated characters that we haven't seen before, especially ones kicking around in this same little zone. And we've already been introed to pirates. We've already been living in this universe that we know that Hondo is a part of. So I think that would be a good first introduction. And then I would imagine that when whatever this crossover film happens, like this like, Mandoverse crescendo film happens, you're going to want somebody like Hondo in that as well. So to intro him in Mando and Grogu, and then if that movie does happen, having him in there as like, hey, we're bringing in everybody. Like if it's one of those things where it's like Thrawn is becoming a bigger problem, we need to marshal all the troops. Hondo and the pirates are definitely going to
He's
be
a
on the call
resource
sheet
guy,
to
right? He can get shit
yeah.
moved around and keep it on the down low. Like Bango's saying here, they almost have to start using Batu in live action to justify it at Galaxy's Edge, because I mean it was what, it was created from a book or a comic book, and that's it. Like the only backstory for Batu is in words and shit, right, Nick? It's never been featured in animated or live
Yes.
action.
Yes, as far as I am aware, it is only shown in uh books, or only spoke about
Yeah,
in books.
but we do
And
know.
it
I mean,
was in
Hondo literally sets up on Batu. That's where
yeah.
Onaka Transport is kind of based. That's where he logged his LLC. So it would make sense. It would be a good location to go to in that movie for a lot of fans. The young generation's like, holy shit, I've been there. So it makes sense, which means, everyone, it's not gonna happen. So, all right.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, well, it is time,
We'll
my
see.
friends. We do this every time there is a new Star Wars series coming out. It would be nice to talk about movies. I think Nick and I probably thought we would be talking about more than just one movie when we started this back in 2018, but lo and behold, that's not the case. So we've been dealing with a
Yeah.
lot of TV since we started the show, especially the live stream. And we always like to pregame before the first episode, or in this case, 3 episodes comes out, to kind of give you what we want to see as fans, but then lay down what we predict to see as Star Wars plot soothsayers. Okay? If you've never been here before, that is the format we're about to go to. We've got 10 and 10, 10 once, 10 predictions. We'll see if any crossover. And some of the most fun that we have after a season is over is revisiting our preseason predictions and once, to see how freaking awesome we truly are at what we do. All right, so
We're pretty good.
We're gonna start with the once here. I just gotta get the screen unfucked on the vertical side, and we'll be ready to rock. Okay, here we go. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to refresh this. Of course, you can't have the Adobe Express site sit for too long, or it no longer works. So you gotta juice that JavaScript a little bit. All right, Nick, here we go. You've got the list. I'll just be going down in order, top to bottom, starting with our once here. Up first, we'd like to see the Bix and Cassian romance reignited. I mean, clearly these two had a past in season 1. You had Tom with 2 M's fuck everything up and get himself killed, and Cassian kind of scared away, and ultimately Bix locked up. But I want to see these two kind of come back together. I would like a love story a bit, kind of like Han and Leia. It adds to the stakes, it adds to the tension, and it's only going to add to the dick punch that we're all expecting to feel when Cassian probably loses most of his family and friends to fully cement him as the ice-cold rebel spy that we meet him as in Rogue One. So, Nick, I really want to see these two kind of rekindle that love, just to add more weight, more stakes to what's going to go down this season.
Yeah, I mean, we got to see what turns him into that like hardened type of person, because even at the end of season 1, he's still like, he's not there yet. He's not the Cassian that we know in Rogue One. And I do think that like having a romantic entanglement and then having that person killed will probably be something that hardens him. And yeah, obviously
we got to get him to the point where he's ready to shoot people's dads right in front of him, okay, or kill his contacts because he knows stormtroopers are coming.
Yeah, and he's not there yet. He's getting close.
Much closer,
yeah,
much closer. I mean, seeing his mom's speech and everything that happened to him in season 1 tipped him over the edge where he was committed. But by the end of season 2, we're gonna see ice cold Cassian Andor. And usually, when people are ice cold, it's not just war and rebellion. It's what that costs them, and usually it costs them their personal relationships. Maybe their freedom, you never know, but I have a feeling a lot of these people are going out. But I do want these two to kind of rekindle, just so it's even more of a smack when he loses her, something bad happens to her. All
Yeah,
right, and
for
another
sure.
one we would like to see in Andor season 2 as fans. I really don't think it's going to happen, but it would be nice to see Palpy address the Senate. I would take it live or even via a hologram. I just want to see him in there jerking the senators around and basically conducting a session of his Banana Republic.
Yeah. I mean, usually I would say that Tony would never stoop to the level to bring in previous actors that have been in the franchise in his work,
That's what I
but
mean. That's why I
I feel
think
like
this is a pipe dream, but hey, it is a want. It's
yeah,
not a prediction.
but hey, I feel like even for Tony, for him to be like, wow, I get to work with Ian McDermott being the guy, being the emperor, I feel like that would be a pretty fucking cool thing to do, even for Lord Gilroy, the knighted. And yeah, dude, I think this would be awesome because obviously, like we're in the thick of when the vice grip is closing
Yeah.
around the
And
galaxy.
you're gonna
Like
have some
this is
senators bitching a little bit, like, "Hey, this doesn't, this doesn't really
yeah,
jive with the Constitution or whatever we're supposed to be following here. Come
yeah,
on,
you know, the
Palpatine, let's
whatever.
go."
Yeah, and it's like if you don't have something like that, it's like in all you have is like senators like coming out of the chambers and then being like, "Can you believe this guy?" Like,
Yeah,
and you don't see that like powerful presence. And I think that's what really makes it is like every time Ian is on screen as the Emperor, as Palpatine, it's a powerful presence. And I feel like that's what Tony likes to put on screen is like these powerful moments, these powerful
that's a
presences,
good
and
point.
you know.
I still don't think it's gonna happen because listen, and
No.
I actually think it's more in universe. Hear me out here, everyone. Think about who Palpatine is. Is he really going to stoop to dealing with low life senators at this point in time? In fact, him not showing up and having Masamita run everything is more of an fu to his empire, to the people that still think that they have a vote, that they still think they have a voice. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to grace you with my presence. I care so little about democracy and you guys pretending we still have it that I'm just going to always send my lieutenants to deal with you. You know what I mean? It's like a fuck you to those that still think they have power as senators. So honestly, I think that might be the main reason we don't get this, because in universe, Palpatine, it's all part of his head game. It's all part of his power play on the galaxy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that would lead to a lot of unrest in the Senate where it's like this guy is now the emperor, or is he still presenting himself as a chancellor? He's the emperor now, but we never see him. He's gone. He's a no-show. He doesn't care
Mm-hmm.
about what the people have to say anymore, and that would stoke even more resistance, even more questioning from the Senate, and then that would lead to obviously the Senate being dissolved because he doesn't want to deal
Right.
with it anymore.
Which
So
we know is
yeah,
happening, and I'm
it
with
does make
Bango
sense.
here. If he shows up, it's going to be during a contentious moment and shock the Senate. I believe that is how it's going to play, and here's where it could happen if it happens. We know at some point Mon Mothma is going to pop off in the Senate about the Gorman massacre and place the blame at Palpatine's feet. So if he's not there and people start going like, oh, you know, you get that commotion you can get in that Senate chamber, and Masami is like, order, order, order. I could see the fucking room size hologram popping up and him being like, you know, doing one of those. So
Yeah,
that would be fucking awesome. Let's hold out hope.
we'll see.
Let's hold
We'll
out
see.
hope.
Yeah, I was say
Let's
we'll
hold out
see. We'll
hope.
see.
All right. Another one we're looking for here, Nick. I would like to see Dedra or Serial break good. One or the other, not
Yeah.
both. Because I think one's going to lean even harder into the darkness, where I think the other one's going to start questioning their decisions and their affiliations. So I do want to see this odd couple, this pair, one of them break good. And as of right now, I deep down in my Star Wars speculation soul, I think it's actually going to be Dedra.
Yeah, that was my prediction as well. Like you can already see that she is being disrespected even though she's earned the station that she's earned. Um in like internally within the empire, which is causing her to like question like, okay, like I know what I'm doing. There, it's like she's right now she's questioning like, like why does nobody listen to me? But
That right
soon it's
there, I
gonna be
think.
like, yeah, like soon that's gonna turn into like, well, I can see all the flaws in this system. I can see that like what's happening here, and I do think that she's the one that's going to start to potentially become like a, like does she become a mole within the imperial superstructure for the rebellion in some way? But then Cyril is going to be like, because they have this like relationship between each other now, like he's going to be the one that's like that really starts to pay closer attention to her and maybe sells Dedra out at the end
Bango.
to
She's more
like
Rommel than Himmler. That's very astute. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, good call. But I do think that Dedra is the one to turn good, where it seems clear even from the ending of season one and what we've seen, the little snippets of Cyril, that like he is the one that's going to be like hard line,
He's a
like
Kool-Aid drinker.
imperial.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
imperial
Bango said,
bro.
he's a zealot. I mean, that dude, he's like, yes, I'm committed to the Empire. Even though you gotta remember, he's not in the Empire anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
they kicked him out.
they
He was
kicked him
he
out.
was like an accountant at like a parts factory. So, oh, by the way,
Yeah,
for
but he's
those,
like,
sorry, Nick, go ahead.
no, yeah, I was gonna say, but like his focus now is on like how can I get back in the good
Correct,
graces? Like
correct.
he's like begging at the heels to see what he can do.
Yeah,
So
and
maybe the way that he gets in
exactly.
is through,
Maybe he
yeah,
sells out Dedra. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah,
Maybe he
could
turns
be.
on her,
Could be.
or she confides in him, and he turns on her to get his spot back, and then she has to go on the run, and she joins the rebellion. The one thing that she knew was happening. I've started not rewatching Andor season one, but a clip will pop up here, a clip will pop up here. PSA Disney Plus has put out, I think, like a 12-minute season one recap, so that's going to be nice for people that don't want to redo the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean,
But
she was the one that was tying together the cell. She's
correct,
like, you all think
yes,
that these are individual events.
correct.
No, these are together.
That's
Yeah.
what I was getting to, Nick. She actually knows what's going on, and all her male counterparts or higher ups are like, "You're fucking stupid." So, like Nick was saying, that might also play into her I can't say it.
A
Uh,
disenfranchisement.
there you
Yes.
go with the ISB and the Empire overall. So we shall
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, but these two, honestly, I think I'm more excited to see where these two end up than anyone else, because we know where Cassian's going. That's easy. I mean, we're not gonna, we don't know the struggle, but we know where he ends up. I'm very interested to see what happens with these two.
Yeah.
They're
100%.
intriguing characters. They really are. They're well written, well acted, portrayed perfectly. They're both kind of odd and weird, and you gotta like a guy who is named Cereal that eats cereal through his character.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Up next here, this one was coming from young Nick. He wants Mon Mothma to take over the reins, become the de facto leader of the Rebel Alliance. And yeah, I think this is a guarantee, because we know the Gorman Massacre is going to play out, and we know she is going to speak to the Senate. So it does seem that maybe by episode 7, 8, 9, she might assume the mantle finally.
Yeah, I mean, we already know when we get into the OT time period that she is essentially the figurehead. She is the visual face of the rebellion, and getting there is key to this character's development. And I think it needs to happen before the show ends. Like the entire point of the show is to show the growth of the rebellion from a spark to the fire that it turns into, that was alluded to in season one. And I really do think that if we're able to see Mon Mothma take those steps, and we saw just the beginning of it in season one between her and Luthen and everything like that, and in when she gets there and when she assumes that mantle, that's going to be really the peak character moment for her through this series.
And that's what I've liked about this portrayal of Mon, because we always, originally the old school kids, when we first see her, she's just a figurehead. She shows up like, okay, she talks very monotone, drops the many Bothans lines, and kind of moves on. And she always felt like, yeah, she's always been in this fight. She's the leader. She's always been down. But as we've learned, I mean, yes, she's a willing participant, but you can see she is scared of all this. She doesn't necessarily want to be the public face. She's worried about working with Luthen and the danger it's putting her and her family in. She doesn't seem like she has the confidence in herself to be the public person that represents the rebellion yet. And we're going to get that in this season. The question is, how far does Tony deviate from existing canon? Because we do have a problem with our Lord and his view on existing canon, because this is all covered, my friends, in Star Wars Rebels later seasons. They literally are tasked by Phoenix Squadron, a rebel cell, the Ghost Crew that is, to go and pick up Mon Mothma, get her out of Dodge, and bring her to Dantooine so she can give her speech to the galaxy, essentially announcing the coming out of the Rebel Alliance. That is canon. Yeah. Are they going to honor that, Nick? Because that would be a pretty huge retcon.
It's a power moment, right? It's a power moment between Tony and Dave Filoni. Who's going to win? Who's going to win?
Dude.
I mean, obviously, Dave is the chief creative officer for Lucasfilm, so he could, whip it out and say, "Hey, bro, I've
been there, done that, bitch.
I did this.
Remake it in live action or die."
Exactly. So he may lay the hammer down and say, "Look, this has already been done. If you want to show it in live action, feel free, but this is what you have to do."
I understand why he's going to be able to play with the Gorman Massacre canon, because most of it is EU defined, so it's not necessarily real. It's not canon, okay?
Yeah.
That I get that, but when we're talking about, Rebels, it's only, a few years ago this canon was laid out. I mean, that would be pretty egregious. Be like, no, never mind. This is actually how it happened. Fuck those stupid cartoons. They actually don't count.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to imagine.
Bango's throwing out some dollar bills. It'd be sick if Lord Gilroy showed us a squad of Bothan spies. Here you go.
Hey, man, the Manny Bothans. We need Manny.
That's a good band name too. The Manny Bothans.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just can't see that. Like, especially for a show that was look, like all of the animated series are pretty well received and loved by the fan base. Maybe Bad Batch not as much as the others, but Rebels and Clone Wars for sure. And it's hard for me to imagine that Filoni, as the chief creative officer, would let him railroad what's already been done in that. I mean, we'll see. Especially considering that Rebels was really Disney's first entry. Like that's like, hey, we're establishing canon here for ourselves for really the first time in the animated universe. So it is hard for me to imagine that Filoni would just be like, "Yeah, bro, redo it. I don't care."
Yeah, here it is right here. I've got the Wikipedia page up for the episode. It's called Secret Cargo. It came out in 2017 during Rebels' third season, and it literally, the Ghost Crew is tasked with grabbing Mothma from Coruscant and taking her to Dantooine to deliver her coming out speech, which is massive.
Dude, wouldn't that be the fucking coolest thing ever if, like, Tony Gilroy, the guy who never wants to do anything based off of previous Star Wars, did a live action version of that?
He would be immortalized.
Jr. Yeah, like if he had the whole, like, Mary Elizabeth there as Hera, Freddie there as Kanan, and then Ezra, who's the actor that plays Ezra? I can't remember his name now. God, it kills me.
Iman Esfandi, I think.
Yes, yeah. And Iman there as Ezra, like just have the whole crew there and just be like, look, y'all thought I couldn't do stuff like this, but I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you the shot for shot remake from Rebels.
And you know what,
I don't
Nick?
think he'll do it, but
here's the deal. Yeah. I'm looking at the image. I don't even think he needs the whole Ghost Crew, because I'm just seeing Ezra, Mothma, Zeb, and Hera, and then there's two other people there from Phoenix Squad and just random Rebel soldiers. So this isn't a big ask. All three of these characters are established in live action now.
Yeah, I was going to say, all three of them already have live action counterparts. I mean, you would have to shave Iman's head or like give him a ball cap and like
we can do
but
that.
No big deal. Like that's easy to do.
So
So
it's there. I mean, listen, dude, I could even pull up the speech for you verbatim that she drops, and you would hope Tony just copy and pasted this damn paragraph from Wikipedia. I mean, she's basically
dude,
like, I've been called a traitor for speaking out against a corrupt galactic senate, a senate manipulated by the sinister tactics of the Emperor. For too long, I have watched the heavy hand of the Empire strangle our liberties, stifling our freedoms in the name of ensuring our safety. No longer! Despite Imperial threats, despite the Emperor himself, I have no fear as I take new action. For I am not alone. Beginning today, we stand together as allies. I hereby resign from the Senate to fight for you, not from the distant hall of politics, but from the front lines. We will not rest until we bring an end to the Empire, until we restore our republic. Are you with me? Yeah, I mean, it's like her Braveheart speech. Like, come on.
yeah, man. I mean, that, and it's such a hard thing too, right? Because Tony at his core is a writer. Like Tony's
I
not,
know,
you
man.
know,
I know. It's gonna be.
and it,
It's probably impossible for him to be like, I gonna use someone else's words. No,
I
I
know.
can't.
It's got to kill him. It's gonna kill him for sure. And and I really do think that if they approach it that way, and like we know that the Gorman massacre is going to be a part of the show, he's already said it. Like, it will really show where the pull lies in that in this series. Like, if he goes through and he makes his own version of this, then it's like then he was able to successfully just tell Filoni, like, look, I appreciate what you did, but like this is something different, and I'm doing it my way. Um,
That's gonna
and
be
there's going to be
dicey.
a lot
Like,
of yeah, there's going to be a lot of feelings about that from fans of Rebels. So
it would be very odd, like League is saying. It'd be very odd to just kind of blow that away, because it's a huge moment for Rebels, for the Star Wars saga, for the character of Mothma. So let's hope that Lord Gilroy just kind of checked his ego a little bit and accepted what came before him. We will be
yeah,
returning to this discussion, I think, during the predictions. Okay, another one. That was a good one there on Mon Mothma. Another one we want to see is the Cassian and K2 meetup to feel earned and glorious. Okay, we know they're going to bond. We know it happens. I want it to feel earned, and I want it to be great. I don't want it to just be, oh, look, we're going to take a droid and turn him into a good guy. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be an
yeah,
earned partnership. Maybe it's a
yeah,
dedicated mission to get one, to get some intel, or maybe K2 in his proto security droid format fucks Cassian up. Really, I don't know, but I want it to be more than just, hey, there's a droid, let's unplug it and take it home.
yeah. Like, oh, there's a decommissioned ISB droid. Let's
Right,
just
exactly.
plug it into the Rebel computer base and upload all the Rebel code or
Yeah, I
whatever.
want there to
Like,
be purpose. Like, why do these two bond? Like, they bond. I mean, this is no different than Luke and R2, that type of shit. Like, they are
yeah,
friends by the time we see them in
yeah,
Rogue One. So, why? How does that come to be? Is it all because of our theory that it's B2 in there after all? But why do they
yeah.
meet up in the first place? That's what we want to see, and we want it to be justified, earned, not just convenient.
Yeah, I think that for in large part in for these ISB droids and for Imperial security droids, like they're not given personalities, right? Like they're
No.
like general droids like we see with R2D2 astromechs and protocol droids, stuff like that, like they have personality to them, but these are just like, hey, punch this guy in the face when he gets out of line, make sure that these people don't get out of their cell. Like they're very task oriented. So I do think it may be a fact of like I could see the meetup being like, hey, we're working our way through an Imperial base and these droids are fucking closing in on us, and we knock one out in our ship and we just don't have time to shovel this shit off of it before we take off. And then and then Cassian is just like, wait, like we see what these things can do. Why don't we fucking take it and like use it for our own? And like that's how they get the shell. But then like you said, once the B2 personality chip or that upload happens, then you really start to see the bonding. Then you really start to see like, oh wait, Cassian and B2 are always close, but now you have the opportunity to be a lot closer and for there to be a real partnership there. um
Yeah, and
But yeah, like how they get the frame will be interesting.
right, and that's what we want. We just want that to be earned, to feel justified, not just, oh, we found it, here you go. And I think that the way B2 makes his way into K2, you gotta remember B2 is with the other Phyrexians on that wheat planet, and we know the Empire's coming for him. There's a good chance he gets injured, in quotes, to the point where his only way to live is to have his memory core transplanted, uploaded to another shell, and that's kind of how I'm thinking that takes place. But let's just hope the initial meetup is something worth it. Okay, and I do think it may be the main story of one of the 3 episode blocks. You know, the mission to get K2 or however that plays out.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that there's a high likelihood that the
first stream crash of the day.
I do think that the K2 moment will be an episode unto itself. I mean, it makes sense for something that's as impactful as that is likely to be.
Dude, I'm thinking it could be a whole 3 episode block.
Whole 3 block.
Finding K2 and then he becomes, B2 into K2. Who knows? We shall see. All right, we got to stream back up on the one side there. You never know. We did pretty good today. Maybe it's the new setup. Okay, here comes another one. We got to pick things up a little bit here. B2 is used to rewire K2. We've said it a million times. I don't know if we really need to spend more time on this. We've been talking about it since 2022. We want to see it, and guess what? We may even be predicting it, like I teased during Ask Us Anything. So I'm just going to move on to the next one here, which is another one from young Nick. Nick wants a space battle, and I'm kind of with him. So lay it on us, Nick. How do you see this potentially playing out?
Yeah, I mean, I think that given what we've seen thus far, especially in this little clip that was recently released with Cassian essentially trying to unsuccessfully pilot an Imperial or a TIE interceptor out of some sort of capital ship. I do think that a space battle would be sick in this not film, in this TV show, because essentially what you're seeing is the building up of the rebellion, but also like the active hand of the Empire, like trying to quash it down. And they're going to find it, like, I assume that at a certain point, like you were mentioning before with B2, like the Empire is going to find out about Dantooine. There's going to be some sort of like descending on Dantooine, at least in some small way, like, or like some squadron finds it. But I think that one of the reason I want to see this, because one of the best scenes in Rogue One was the space battle over Scarif.
Hell yeah.
And like seeing that level of destruction that was wrought upon the Empire, or upon the rebellion, seeing why Blue Squadron just no longer exists. I think that, if we could see something, not maybe of that magnitude, but at least a space battle that shows X-wings and shows that the rebellion is starting to build up their naval force, and then maybe even it's just like a small skirmish between like a scout squadron of TIEs, and then like X-wing swoop down on them, and you see this quick dogfight that happens.
Time.
Yeah, I think that something like that could be cool.
I love your idea about Dantooine, but I don't think it lines up to canon, because if you remember,
because they say it's abandoned.
Yeah. So the Empire didn't even go to check on Dantooine until after Leia told them to lie. But from what I've read, the reason the rebels did have to leave Dantooine initially is that somehow an Imperial tracker made it to the planet, and they discovered, and they're like, okay, we just got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
it's not like the Empire knew what they were doing, but the Rebel Alliance was like, okay, this could be bad. We need to go. It's time to move to Yavin,
exactly.
So.
And like you can massage that. Like maybe it's not over Dantooine, but like I said, like maybe there's like a scout squadron that passes by Dantooine, and then they take them out, but they never, like, the squadron can't even respond fast enough to get stuff back to the Empire, and they're just like, we just lost contact with these.
This is definitely canon that I think Tony has a lot of room to play with, for sure. Because it is so lightly touched on. And I'm with you. I really hope we do get some Dantooine action. It would make no sense why we wouldn't. I mean, that's where the rebels are before they go to Yavin, and we see them all kind of descending on Yavin. So you would think if we're telling the season 1 was let's get Cassian to the point where he wants to join the rebellion. Season 2, each year is just going to be getting closer and closer to the point where we actually have a rebel alliance and not specific cells doing their own thing. All right.
Exactly.
So that's a space battle. What else would we like to see in season 2 of Andor? How about let's loop in some of the rebel senators like Bail Organa, Nick? Like he would make some sense. Hell, if anything, he was included in that Star Wars Rebels episode. They actually, when Mon Mothma is giving her speech, when she's done, it actually cuts to his character going like, all right, it's time to fucking rock and roll. So considering that he's in Rogue One, he's in the know, he knows what's going on Yavin. He kind of nudges Mothma to like, hey, let's just kind of let them do their thing. Why not? Bail out of any of the rebel senators makes sense to show up in season 2 in the later episodes, maybe even 7, 8, 9 when they're on Yavin already.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we saw Bail in Rogue One. He, like you said, he was the one who was like, hey, we got to let him.
Yeah, Mothma was like, can you talk to your friend, aka Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah, your friend, aka yeah, your Jedi friend. But yeah, I mean, well, one, Jimmy Smith seems like he's always down for some Star Wars time, like he was in, he was also in he was in the Kenobi series. So he's always happy to come back to the universe and spread his Bail Organa around for people to see. So I do think that it makes the most sense, especially in a period of time that is still focused on the Senate itself being a unit.
Yeah, I mean, at least put him in the Senate chamber. Come on. So
yeah, and like conversations with Mothma, or like show conversations with senators that are like, hey man, like we gotta fucking do something about this. Like we can't just sit here and like let this happen. Like there needs to be, even if it's not long scenes, but there needs to be scenes of these senators that do help form the rebellion. Like,
I mean, Nick, isn't there 4 or 5 of them at that war table in Rogue One essentially saying, no, we're not going to commit to open war yet. We can't do it. So
yeah,
that's what I mean. Like, let's get some of these rebel senators in play. Don't put it all on Mothma. Specifically, when she comes out and kind of declares herself, that's when these people need to start showing up. So, all right.
Definitely.
Just pick up pace here just a tad. Next one. Phoenix Squadron cameo for the Mothma mission. Like I said, Nick, I think we kind of already dove into this one already. Yeah. So there you have it, people. We gave you what we expect to see, why it should happen. It's a canon event. It's a big event. And we just hope our Lord Gilroy pays off for us. All right. I think this is our last one here. Luthen Rael to die. This came from young Nick. Nick's tired of him. He hates the Skarsgård family. He thinks his speech sucked. He hopes he can't swim, and he wants to put him in that prison with Kino Loy.
That's right. That is exactly what I would do. But I mean, I think that this ties into Mothma taking over, as like the figurehead, the head of the rebellion and everything. Because really, if Luthen doesn't die, there's no reason for him to not be the figurehead. He's the one who's organized it the whole way around. Yep. He's the one that has built these individual cells and then ultimately brought them together. So in my opinion, knowing what is coming forth in the OT, like he needs to go out. Like he needs to go out, and it needs to be a moment where Mothma is like, all right, Luthen is gone. I have been his trainee. I've been under his wing this entire time, essentially training for this very thing. Now it's my time to step up. Now it's my time to take the mantle that this man has helped to build and push it forward. So I think that Mothma coming up would coincide with Luthen's death or something like this. And this would also heavily affect Cassian. I mean, Cassian is now in a position to where like this is the guy that has turned him from,
it's his mentor, right? I mean, even from the trailers for season 2, Luthen's like, no, I don't even want you to be a soldier anymore. You need to be a leader. Start thinking like a leader. I'm not always going to be here.
Yeah, like he's been setting up himself to die since season 1, essentially. Like, he knows that his time is limited. Like, he knows
That's
that
what
there are people that are
his
probably,
monologue was about. Essentially, like, when
yeah,
I took on this mission, I knew I was going to pay dearly with my life, my happiness, my joy.
yeah. So,
It doesn't. He also says,
and
Nick,
so,
he's like,
like,
I won't even see the fruits of my labor. Essentially,
yeah. So, like, he, to deny him his well-earned death would be strange for sure. But it also, like, it's a galvanization point for Mothma and for Cassian. Cassian, like you said, as his mentor, as almost as a father figure at this point, the person that turned him from, like, at the very most before Luthen, like, Cassian was a quiet dissenter, if not just somebody completely disinterested
he was a
with like
fuck
what
up.
was
He was just
going
going
on.
around stealing shit, trying to make a buck.
Yeah, like, he completely uninterested in the rebellion and what was going on in the galaxy as a greater whole. And then, like, Luthen turns him into the Cassian Andor that we see in Rogue One. So I do think that this is a big moment that Tony will definitely want to pay off on.
Yeah, I kind of hope it's almost like kind of like a mix between the Obi-Wan Kenobi self-sacrifice and Han Solo's death at the hands of his son. I want it to kind of be a hybrid of that, where it's a very poignant
Yeah.
moment, maybe just between two characters. But it's done in a way where Luthen knows that he has to do this because it's going to push his team, his followers, to the next level they need to get this shit done. Kind of like Obi-Wan knew,
Yeah.
like, I need to die. That's the only way I'm going to be able to help Luke the way he needs me to beat this fucking empire. And I hope it's something similar to that for Luthen, because I do love this character. I do think he's a fantastically written character and perfectly acted by Mr. Skarsgård here.
You know, it would be sick, and they're not going to do it, but it would be so cool if so there's already buzz going around, like, like the general people know a rebellion is coming. They know a rebellion is out there. The senators, there's a feeling, they've seen it. You know, the Aldani heist was like their coming out party. What if he gets captured and they publicly execute him across the HoloNet?
Yeah,
And it's like,
I'm down.
yeah, and it's like, it's not necessarily a quiet death, but it is the death, and they're like, we have captured the organizer and leader of the Rebel Alliance.
Huge spectacle. I mean, I hate to
Yeah.
say this because Easter's coming up, but essentially the execution of Jesus Christ, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, something similar. I mean, like, you could look back at, like, you know, other properties that have done something similar and stuff like that. Like, a very public quashing, like what they're expecting to be a very public quashing of the rebellion. That's like, here's your leader. We are going to kill him for billions to see across the HoloNet. And then that's the moment where it's like, you know, they even tell, it's like on the, like, during the execution, they'd be like, you know, give up your conspirators and we may let you live. And he just, like, maintains silence.
Yep.
Nothing. And then
Just
that's the
takes it.
point where Cassian's like, this is the guy that I need to model myself after. This is the guy that has sacrificed look what, you know, like, he told us what he was going to sacrifice. The sacrifice is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, be mad if he doesn't die. It's to me stupid. It's bad writing. Like, I don't know how a guy of this capacity, literally the godfather of the Rebel Alliance, he lives and then we never hear from him again. I mean, I guess he could hide away, but that would be lame as fuck. He has to die.
Yeah, not in his character at all, to just be like, okay, well, I'm getting out of here.
All right,
Yeah.
so those were our wants. We'll go ahead and peel through our predictions here as we start rounding home on this episode of Star Wars Time Show. Remember, if you want to watch the live stream, 5:30 East, Wednesdays are as close as we can get, youtube.com/Star Wars Time Show. All right, so those were our wants. These are our predictions. This is what we think is going to happen based on Lord Gilroy himself and the magic we have in our brains to speculate on Star Wars plot points. Easy one here. That's why we started with it. B2 will be used to make K2. I don't think there's much more we can say on this subject. It feels like we've brought it up at least 15 times just today. So I'm taking this one to the bank. Next 100%. Prediction. Tarkin, Vader, Palpatine referenced, but never featured on screen in the flesh.
Yeah, I think that this is probably gonna happen. I think that at the very most, like you mentioned, we may get like a hollow of one of these.
Notice, so we
Definitely
could
not
get a
all of
win,
them.
Nick. I said in the flesh. I'm good at those little
Exactly. In the
caveats.
flesh.
Okay.
In the flesh. But yeah, I think that something like this is definitely needed. Just like to keep fresh for people who may forget, like these are the villains that we are really fighting against
hmm
here, like
They're the
it's
big
very
three at
easy
this
to get
point in
caught up.
time.
Yeah, it's like very easy to get caught up in the white helmets and everything like that, stormtroopers, troops on the ground, but like these are the real enemy
Yep.
here. So
They're
yeah.
setting policy like listen, Krennic's in season 2. You got to think he's going to bitch about Tarkin at one point in time. And you got to
That's all he does.
right. And you got to figure at least Mothma's going to bring up Palpatine's name. So I think this is a pretty safe take it to the banker. Plus, with our caveats, it's almost bulletproof. That's how we roll
Yeah.
here. We like wins. We like batting 1,000. All right, next one prediction here. Cassian's Ferrex family all die. Wilman, Brasso, Brix, and technically B2 is going to be transferred into K2. But the meat bags, Nick, I think they're toast.
There's no way. Like, Cassian's still soft. He's got to get harden his shell somehow. And I think like they may not all die at the same time, but like they're all going out. Like they're all going out, and he's going to be witness to it, and it's going to turn him into this just like complete unfeeling, single focus type of character
I
that we
agree.
see
You are
in Rogue
right.
One.
Because he was very emotional in season 1, and he's probably still going to
Hmm.
be emotional early
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
season. And as we've been talking, the more of his familial pieces that get pulled off the board, the harder of an individual he's going to become. And that's what they
Yeah.
want. I mean, that's really what the rebellion wants. I mean, come on, I know they're the good guys, but we saw what Cassian was willing to do. He was willing to kill other good guys in the name of the mission. Okay, so
Yeah.
you got to live through some shit to be able to make those cold choices in the moment. Like, I mean, he had to decide immediately. Like, he's my contact. We're good. I told him he was safe, but hey, buddy, come here. Boom! Just shoots him right in the fucking heart. So, yeah, you got to be icy to do that. All right, another prediction we got for Andor season 2. Damn it, this is a long one, but I had to kind of get it all out there. Mothma's personal life will collapse, as we kind of saw it starting to happen in season 1, which is going to help push her to open rebellion. Her save will be different than what was shown in Star Wars Rebels. So, Nick, what I'm saying is, whatever happens at her daughter's wedding, I think is finally gonna like reveal to her, like, listen, my personal life is horrendous. It's garbage. It's crap. I need to stop worrying about that shit and dedicate my focus to this rebellion. So that's prediction 1. And the second, just to save time and to keep it at 10 predictions, I am speculating, I am putting it out there that even though we just talked ad nauseum about you got to keep it the same as Rebels, I do think Gilroy is going to tweak it.
Yeah, I think it's just such a big ask for this guy to just do something that's already been done. So I agree there that even if it keeps the same spirit as what happened in Rebels, it's going to happen differently than it happened in Rebels. And yeah, I mean, you could see the shadow of her personal life collapsing in season 1. Like
Daughter hates her. Her marriage is a
yeah,
joke.
yeah, exactly. Like she's essentially gonna like forsake what would be a life of like cushy. Like she could probably just like if
Yeah,
she
go back to
chose to just sit
Chandrilla and
back.
hang out with the elites.
Yeah, just like whatever, man. Like this isn't my concern. Like she could easily go down that path, but like we know the principles that she works under, and we know that she would never allow that to happen to herself. So it will be interesting to see the degradation of her. I mean, one, it's definitely going to be the degradation of her mental state. I mean, this is her child and her husband
Yeah.
that she's going to be voluntarily losing to stand up for what is right in the galaxy. So I do think that if done properly, Mothma's story will be very interesting and potentially heartbreaking in this show.
Yeah, and League was asking in the stream chat, do you think her family died? No, I actually think her family may contribute to turning on her or going against her or shunning her or making it easy for her to kind of cut ties. I think they're that vapid of people.
Yeah, worse than death for Mothma. Like if her family were to die, it's very easy for her to then transition, especially die at the hands of, the vice grip of the Empire or something like that. Easy. But for her to literally
be betrayed,
forsake her family, like that is much harder than just like seeing them die, for sure.
You know what? I forgot who said. I think that's Polanka said it earlier. He's most excited for Mon Mothma's story. I think he's on to something. Because, like I said, we know where Cassian's going, right? And we ultimately know where Mothma's going, but we don't know kind of how she got there. And I think her getting there is more exciting than Cassian getting there, because he's going to mostly be doing the spy shit, the shooty, espionage stuff. That's going to be exciting. She's going to be doing the politicking, like the real type of maneuvering, using words and playing chess with people's lives. That, to me, is very intriguing. All right.
And it's like she has way more to lose than Cassian. Like Cassian had nothing to start with, and is like is now given a purpose by this cause. Like Mothma is at the top. Like she has everything to lose, and she does it voluntarily, which is like
I like Divided. Divided's excited for Mon's story, and even better, her costumes. That is no joke. I mean, the shot I'm using is from season 1, and look at that, man. Genevieve O'Reilly is an absolute angel. She's an angel.
Yeah.
That fair skin, red hair, my goodness. I know I said it last week, but they're doing their LA press tour. These are some of the best looking people from Star Wars of all time. Like when they get dressed up for the red carpet, Diego, Adriana, Genevieve, it's like even Tony himself, he's a fucking silver fox. Let's go.
Maybe that's why everybody likes Andor, because it's got a hot cast.
Yeah, pretty people. Yeah. They're easy to look at. All right, another prediction.
That's why everybody liked Kamir. Kamir, people hated the Acolyte, but hey, everybody was like, Kamir.
He's definitely, man, he's a sexy individual. There's no doubt about that. And I'm full hetero, and I don't care. That dude looked good. All right, here comes another prediction here for Andor Season 2. Ghost Crew cameo on Yavin. We got it in Rogue One, so I could see kind of a callback to that on Yavin. That would be easy for Tony to do because it's already been done in a project he's worked on, so I don't think that would make him feel weird. So I hope he doesn't completely eliminate them from the Mothma rescue, but if he does, we will get a cameo of them on Yavin once the show makes it there.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any crossover between the filming of this and even the pre-production time for Ahsoka season 2 or for Mando and Grogu, easy to bring in the people who are already there,
of course,
to just get that quick cameos. So I do think that it's so hard to not have that particular crew involved in this, because they are such a huge part of the early rebellion.
Yeah.
And we've seen them for so long. I mean, we saw them for 4 seasons. We know how ingrained they were in this movement and making the rebellion what it was. So to just not have them involved in any way, even if it is just a cameo, would feel odd for this show.
I mean, listen, Phoenix Squadron was a massive rebel cell. You could argue it might have been the biggest rebel cell before they all became the Alliance. I mean, if you remember it, I forget his name's Captain Soto or something. I mean, they had they were a squadron for a reason. They had a fucking fleet, which a lot of rebel cells did not. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, we know we're going to get Saul and his partisans. That's a cell. Season 1, we had Vel Cinta in that tiny cell, the Aldani cell. That was a rebel cell itself.
The Aldani crew.
So it would be odd to leave out what I would consider it to be probably the biggest rebel cell before it becomes the Alliance, which is Phoenix. All right. Up next for predictions, we are going to see exactly why the rebels left Dantooine. I do want to see this. Was it just a tracker and they got scared and left, or was it something a bit more dire? Maybe a ship made it there, or they took out a scout and they're like, crap, we got to get out of here. But I want to see what happens on Dantooine that causes the entire alliance to go, shit, we can't use this as a base anymore. We got to get out and find something new, just like we saw them do at the end of episode 4, where they launched their attack from Yavin. They knew they had to leave, so they get scattered around the galaxy and end up on Hoth.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that. It's just this like open piece of lore that's been around since day one that we just have like no information on other than
Dantooine.
It was abandoned.
Dantooine.
Yeah. Like finally give us some backstory here. I mean, is it an IP? I mean, like we know that the Empire was just firing off IPDs everywhere. Like, is it an IPD that lands and then gets knocked out and that triggers it?
Maybe Saul's crew was on Dantooine and they fuck it up because they're so, terrorist-based rebel cell, and they got to get out for that. But I do want to see why the rebels have a mass exodus from Dantooine and end up in the Massassi temples on Yavin 4. All right. Speaking of my man Saul, I've been seeing a lot of chatter in the chat, and I've left it kind of mute because I knew we were going to get here. But I really do want to see or learn why Saul Guerrera and his partisans literally get kicked the fuck out of the Alliance. I don't know if everyone remembers this, but by the time Mon declares the Rebel Alliance and all that stuff, Saul is almost as big of a problem for them as the Empire. Like, he just goes bananas. There's a reason he's locked up on Jeddah talking about the Burgali, and he's all whacked out, body's all broken. His faction, they seem a little erratic, 2 tubes in them. They don't even seem like good guys at first. What does he do, Nick? What line does he cross for a Rebel Alliance to go, you know what, Saul? All your years of war, your networks, all your assets, we don't need them. We do not want to be associated with you. You are too much like them.
I think it's going to be loss of innocent life. Like he
runs it up and blows up like a town or something.
Yeah. Like the way that he operates is like, if you're close to the bad people, you're fucked too. And we're not giving you a heads up, because if we give you a heads up, they may get the heads up. And he just he's too flippant with innocent lives. And in a situation like this, and in a movement like this, that's the most important thing to avoid, is because if innocents feel like you're no better than the Empire, then why would they side with you?
Exactly. And you lose the support of the people.
Yeah. So that's what I think it is.
I like what League's saying here. Luthen is unalive because of Saul's actions. That wouldn't be too bad.
And the thing is like, I don't know, like, what does that come down to? Because I saw a couple people saying like, oh, well, Saul is going to take out Luthen, but I was like, but to what end? Like, even if you don't agree with him, you can't argue.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be a murder, but maybe Luthen is in the city or a part of the mission, and Saul just goes batshit crazy. I mean, who's ultimately responsible for Tech dying? Does anyone remember that? Saul. He was in that Imperial facility, didn't know Bad Batch was there, and was just blowing shit up, and he saw them. He's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Good luck. Save yourselves. Fuck the Empire. I'll do whatever it takes to inflict pain upon them. That's who he is.
But it would be a justification, but I feel like it would be like, all right, well, this dude knows what, like, here's the thing. Luthen knows what he's in for. So like, if he gets caught up in an op and he gets killed, like, he signed up for that shit from day one. Like, this is like, and he said it himself. He's like, look, I'm going to get taken out by hook or by crook before I even see this thing come to fruition. But what would really push Mothma and the entire rebellion as a whole to be like, get the fuck out, is he's on, like, wherever he is, like, he's on some planet and he takes out innocent people in mass are killed because of him. They look at that and they're like, these people didn't sign up for this. Luthen signed up for it. We signed up for it. Everybody who's in the rebellion signed up for this. But if you're taking out innocent people that are on our side, you're missing the whole point. Like,
yeah, I think it is going to be it's going to be an extreme an extreme maneuver that goes a bit sideways and costs way too many citizens' lives, and that's going to be it for the other rebel cell leaders. Mothma, they're going to be like, dude, you
Yeah, I
gone.
mean, yeah, like, not to bring it too close to home, but like, people's problems with unmanned drone strikes and shit like that are because you drop a bomb on a city and you kill you're trying to kill one guy and you kill 1,000 innocent people. Like that, like when you're a rebellion, you can't do that because those 1,000 innocent people are the people that you're trying to save. So
Exactly.
yeah.
All right. Another prediction here. Luthen will sacrifice himself for Cassian and the rebellion. We've kind of talked about this
Yeah.
when we talked about him passing, so not worth a deeper discussion. I do think it is going to be a sacrificial death, one that honors what he did and inspires those that are going to come after him. And the last prediction, oh, two more. EU homers will be upset with the new Gorman Massacre canon. That is a take it to the bank. It's going to be another
I was gonna say
Kiadi Mundi type of discussion. Like, I can't believe they're changing non-canon. It's so fucked up. Disney ruins everything. You know it's coming. I've already seen some of it on some of the videos I did for the Gorman Massacre. Like, they're gonna mess it up. Tarkin's not going to come in and land his ship on people. It's like, well, yeah, legally he can't because his family is fucking suing Lucasfilm for Rogue One. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. So, we all know people are going to bitch about this. They bitched about bricks being in season 1. So, yeah, when the Gorman Massacre is slightly altered from what happened in the EU, this is a take it to the banker.
Yep.
And to close it out, this is coming from young Nick, his favorite dude. Lord Gilroy will take many victory laps of awesomeness.
You know why I predicted this? Because it's already happening, baby. And the show ain't even out yet, and it's already happening.
Yeah.
Tony's on the press tour, and he's already like, bro, this is the best show that Disney's ever put out. It's not even out yet. This guy is that's Tony's special. Tony's special is
that's why we love him,
though. Telling people how good Tony is.
Hey, I mean, sometimes that level of confidence leads to high level material being put out. So I mean, if he delivers,
very true.
We'll let him act the way he wants to act. But he's pretty much telegraphed to the world like, hey, he's given Star Wars 10 years of his life. He's done. So he's moving on.
I think that he's out after that until he needs a paycheck again.
hopefully Lucasfilm knights him. If they do not, we will. We want him to actually lose his title of Lord and become Sir, because I know Lord is technically higher than a knight, but we want to knight him either way.
Yeah.
All right.
Official proceedings.
Blanca making some good points here. Ursa's supposed to be with Saltis. I don't know if it's this. Saul got her as a kid, but I think he lost her in her teens, and she was out on her own doing shit. So I don't think we have to worry about Jin showing up.
It's a squirrely timeline between those two because it is like right when she's a kid and then separated and then.
There's a good chance she's out doing the shit that ultimately gets her arrested by the time we see her in Rogue One. So I don't think we get Jin's. She's technically really not that important to this Andor story if you really think about it. If we get any Urso, Galen's the only one that makes sense because he would be actively working on the Death Star that we saw them building in season 1 through prisoners, prison labor. So, all right.
Exactly.
Well, there you go. Those are our wants and predictions, and we will most definitely revisit them at the end of Andor Season 2. And my dumbass, every week we're breaking down the next set of episodes. We'll be sitting there reminding everyone, like, hey, we said that. We predicted that. We wanted that. I'm always apt to let people know that we are awesome, okay? All right, let's go ahead and we'll peel through this week's fan segment, try to bring it home here in 8 minutes or so. We do it every week. We close it out with a question of the week. So this week we asked our fans, hey, what do you want to see in Andor Season 2? And I added, do you plan to binge all 3 episodes every Tuesday night? Most fans missed the assignment, Nick, so we'll see what they had to say here.
Indeed. All right. Clone Wars 501st says more Star Warsy than the first season. Oh, whoa. Not Star Warsy enough for Clone Wars 501st.
Bricks.
He wants bricks. There we go.
Too many bricks.
2797 Studios says, LFG, let's fucking go. I'm very excited, and we'll be watching all 3 episodes as soon as possible. I'm looking forward to seeing the rebellion come together, Saw spinning into madness even more, and finally B2 becoming K2. Lots to look forward to. Here we go, Bat. Thank you very much. League of Extraordinary Sixthers, always in the chat. Thank you, League. She says Andor season 2 is appointment television. First time in a while. Appointment television. You got to be there. Dank Ferric Toys.
Make sure to wear a diaper or sit near a toilet because you're going to be there for over 2 hours each week.
There we go. Dank Ferric Toys says some spicy Bix, but really some cool infiltration or
all
Dantooine.
Right. I like that. I even like the spicy Bix. Like I guess I didn't realize how damn near beautiful or as beautiful as she is. But that what's her name? Is it Adriana Ajorna or
yeah? Adriana Ajorna.
Holy shit, man! At these red carpet events, she is intoxicating. It's that I don't know if she's got some Latina in her or what, but man, she is spicy, as Dank Ferric says. Okay, next slide.
Next up, Air Rick 3 says, watching every episode on the DOT.
See what I mean, Nick? They either picked one or the other. They didn't really answer both questions.
Yeah.
I love people's attention spans. They start reading, they're like, fuck it, I'm just typing.
People, it's too long to type to answer both questions. Shogun Day Sith says, if only the Emperor would visit Luthen shop and buy a couple of objects of interest.
I like that.
And by that I mean the Jedi and Sith holocron sitting in the back. Actually, dude, that would be pretty sick, and could lead into what I was saying before, a public execution by the Empire onto Luthen.
Yeah, he knows Luthen's is bullshit, but he still goes there into his lets him play it up that he's just a shop owner, a purveyor of artifacts. And they're asking around. He's like, and Palpatine would never do it. He would send a goon to do it, but it would be nice.
Oh yeah, Palpy's not carrying him out himself. Like, he goes to scout it, and then he sends the black bagman in to go capture.
Okay, League is saying Bix is Spanish. Her dad is a musician. All right, love them both.
Interesting. B Mad says B2 become K2 and Cyril eat some cereal. Hey,
hopefully with his mom, to a callback to season 1 for sure.
Blue milk with his mom has to happen. That's the only way that Cyril eats his cereal. Next up, Divided Skywalker says, I'm hoping to see an engaging story with awesome cinematography and really cool scene transitions. Besides that, I have no upfront expectations.
Look at Divided.
That's what I'm doing.
Very specific scene transitions. Like, you want the old school Lucas wipes or what? Wipes. I like that.
Yeah. I'm the same way now, though. Divided. I'm not putting any particular stock into anything happening. I'm just accepting it as it comes to me.
Good.
They also say I will watch all 3 episodes the first week for sure. First week, not first day. Good to note. I'll reassess after the first week to see if I can handle that weekly. So we'll see. Michael Kramer up here saying, I'm definitely going to try my hardest to watch all 3 episodes. Depends on how tired I am. And then Scion XTC closing us out. He says, I'm not really hoping or expecting to see anything in particular in season 2. All I hope for is to be given a good time and an enjoyable experience. Highly doubt I'll be watching all 3 episodes on Tuesday night. I guess depends on what time the first episode drops.
They're all 3 are going to drop at 9.
All dropping at the same time, Scion. But I will be watching them in the first week, hopefully before listening to each week's episode of SWTS. There we go. So Scion will be a delayed listener. We assume that there will be a lot of delayed listens.
Yeah, it's going to be lonely lives, I think, for the next week. That's why I'm almost like, do we even go live, or do we do what Beyond the Dune Sea does and record Wednesday and then do an instant premiere on a Friday, and we're there for like 10 minutes to chat with the fans? I don't know. We'll see.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're going to get through week 1 and reassess.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear and see how things go. But thank you to everybody who responded to the question of the week or one of the questions of the week. Hey, we'll take one or the other. We don't need both.
Hey,
we just like to hear
trying
your
is half
thoughts.
the battle.
That's right. Now we're moving into top 5 Star Wars fan artist feature of the week. To get involved, make sure to follow at StarWarsTime.show on Instagram. That is where we pull all of the Star Wars top 5s from. tag at StarWarsTime.show on your Star
It's
Wars
honestly a
Instagram
platform
posts.
we need to just drop, but oh well, I guess we'll stay for a little bit longer.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what the next social media nonsense that pops up. Apparently, OpenAI is trying to develop their own social media platform to take down Musk's Twitter. So we'll
Nick,
see.
I know you as as a marketer would love this, but do you know that OpenAI currently has 1 billion active users? 1 billion.
That's
1 billion.
That's crazy. I mean, it's not surprising given like that is that ChatGPT is essentially like
their first market.
go-to.
Yeah, they're the big three.
Like
the concept of the big three happens in every market.
Industry.
Yeah, every industry has a big three. They are number one, and we'll see who ends up being 2 and 3. It might be Google, might be Claude. But 1 billion active users, that is absolutely insane. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at some art.
All right. First up is Toy vs. Eric. Toy vs. Eric giving us an awesome shot of Mr. Din Djarin. This is his older armor. You can see the not full Beskar armor here. That other leg.
You know who this is, Nick?
Leg.
This is Star Wars Rick. There was a scare in the community. Apparently, Star Wars The Black Series, they're a huge page. They have other Star Wars accounts. They had a Star Wars 1313 account, and it got nuked like ours. No notice, just pulled down. You could protest it, but it was an immediate fail. So it started the rumor of, if you have Star Wars in your handle name, they're coming after you. And I'm like,
okay. Well, if that's the case, then we may lose another Instagram
I'll tell you right now, if that is the case and we lose this one, that is it for Instagram.
We're just TikToking. We're just TikTokers.
Yeah, TikTok's better anyways. I actually find TikTok to be the best goddamn social network out there. I love it.
There we go. So we'll keep an eye on that. But
it's Toy versus Rick now instead of Toy versus Eric. Yeah, Toy versus Rick.
There we go. Toy versus Rick. So thank you for the clarification. But Toy versus Rick, aka Star Wars Rick, is giving us Mr. Din Djarin using that jetpack and firing at some combatants down on the ground. Good looking posing, good looking use of background here, and clean shot of Mr. Din Djarin.
That's right. So check him out. Stuff. Toy vs. Rick. What's even better about the name change? No underscores.
No underscore. Good stuff. Next up, Corey K Figures. Corey.k.figures on Instagram, giving us the CIS versus Galactic Republic battles from the Clone Wars. We see a B2 battle droid taking out a clone. He's already taken out 2 with a B1 flanking him. Battle on, it almost looks like they're on Coruscant. You can see the cars in the sky. You can see like the general architecture of Coruscant here. But this B2 is just taking out clones left and right.
I'm not gonna lie, man. This B2 must be a recent release, or it finally got released from pre-orders. It's a damn good looking Black Series figure. We got.
It looks good.
I think you chose 2 subjects this week, so it definitely was resonating with you pretty hard. But this is one, if I found it wild in a store, I would consider picking it up. I just need to leave my house to go to a store. So that's Corey.k.figures over on the gram.
That's right. Next up, we got Dank Ferrick Toys. Dank Ferrick was just in here earlier giving us his opinions. And we have the Lord of the Sith, Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Vader, standing in front of his castle on Mustafar. I mean, this is just a sick shot. I love the bokeh coming from the right side, the posing on Vader, the imposing pose that he has standing there, and then that awesome shot of the Mustafarian castle in the background. Just awesome work all around by Dank Ferrick.
Yeah, I think this is that Hasbro Vader that they tried like a new quasi line. They're almost like 8-9 inches. They weren't truly 1/12 scale because he looks a little rubbery there. But no, I mean, look, it's Vader. He looks awesome. Got our boy Anakin posing there. I am the ruler of Mustafar, as they say. I'm starting to talk like our AI podcast host. They can't say Coruscant, Scarif, Mustafar, or Yavin. It's Yavin, Coruscant, Scarif. I like Scarif. That's my favorite. Well, anyways,
Nice.
while I'm
Good
talking about
stuff.
those real quick before we move on from Dank Ferrick, I dropped a whole series of Andor deep dives, or our AI podcast host Scott and Sally did. The last one will be coming out maybe tomorrow or Friday. It's going to be for Wilman Pack. Outside of that, we got Cinta, Vel, Lonnie, Luthen, Cassian, Bix, Brasso. They're all up there. Check it out if you want to get relearned on Andor's big characters before season 2 starts next week. All right, so this is dankferg.toys on the gram. Moving on to our next Nick.
Yes. Betty Ione _SW. Betty Ione always gives us awesome single feature or single figure focuses, but on this one we got a little dead clone in the background and then holding the helmet of another clone there. This B2 battle droid looking badass. And
Yeah,
I
it
don't
looks
know
like
if this comes on the figure, but the weathering on it looks really nice as well.
Well, you notice, Nick, like this one, it looks like you can take off the B2's chest panel.
Yeah.
Because if we look at Corey K's, it's in place, but it looks like Bettioni, they're like, you know what? Let's just give him a little battle damage, maybe. He's like a Terminator. He's been through some shit. He's got some parts showing, red lights popping out. And you are right. Yeah, like that may be the default weathering there. That mud on or the rust on the boots. Like I said, it's a damn good looking figure. If I ever see it in the wild, or if any of you ever want to buy it and send it to me, I would gladly accept it. Okay, we're all about accepting free shit. So let's go.
Send it our way. Yes, Betty Ione _SW on Instagram. And to close out the top 5, we got Lionworks. I
love this one.
I mean, LYONWRX, Lionworks on Instagram, giving us an awesome shot here of father and son dueling it out. Vader. It says, "You wanted the truth, Luke. The truth is, you fight like your mother's protocol droid." Oh, shit.
Oh, sit burn, Vader.
Disrespect from father to son. But yeah, I mean, this is just an excellent shot. Vader standing over his son, lightsaber ignited, in a very intimidating pose. Luke on the ground fighting his way. His lightsaber's not even ignited. He can't even defend himself against his father in the oncoming onslaught of Darth Vader. I mean, Lionworks always puts out like super high quality stuff. Like their shots are all just have this like cinematic feel to it.
I mean, it looks like it's from the set. You know, he was on the set on the day of the shoot, and you got Mark down there and David in the suit. I love it. I mean, Vader, as Polanca's saying in the chat, it's a legit Vader scene. It really is. It just screams Vader dominating his opponent, and his opponent just happens to be his son. And that's even the pose on Luke is perfect. It's just like he feels completely helpless against this black terror. So I love this shot. I'm glad you picked it. I was really there every week. I'm like, man, I hope Nick picks this one, and he nailed it this week.
There we go. Got it in. So hey, that's it. That's the end of the top 5. That's the end of our show for this week. Everybody, watch Andor whenever you can. We're going to be here on Wednesday doing our podcast breakdown. But yeah, Matt, go ahead and close us out.
Yeah, as Nick said, we're going to give this first week a trial run. I'll be doing my tried and true, patented, not often viewed breakdown, although Skeleton Crew, we had some action there. And then Wednesday evening, we'll be here 5:30 p. East, as close as we can get, breaking it down live. Hopefully some of you can join us, but I guess we will understand if attendance is a bit light the next 4 weeks, because it is a lot to ask to watch 2+ hours of content in one day. So you can listen to our show and not be spoiled, or just go about your daily life on the internet and not be spoiled. That's the other thing you got to really consider here. If you're worried about spoilers, this cadence is going to fuck with you. It's either going to force you to go hardcore and watch it all, or force you off your devices. So it'll be up to you to decide. Thank you to everyone for joining there. Cruellis, thanks for showing up there at the end, checking out the photography. We speak your name. Good to see you in the chat. Divided, Polanca, League, all the rest. Johnny, I saw you in here at one point. Be Mad. Didn't see Bat today. If I missed your name,
he popped in right at the end.
All right.
Right at the end.
My bad. We all love you. We appreciate you. You guys kind of make this little Wednesday night show worth showing up for every week. So here we go. It's time to hunker down and literally consume Andor in every orifice we have for the next 4 weeks until I get to escape to the East Coast for a couple weeks at the beach. It's literally going to take me right up to that. So I will be ready for that break. But I am ready to see some Star Wars, to think about it, to speculate about it, to tell you what you saw that you missed. That's what I live for. All right, my friends, don't forget, there is always time for Star Wars Time. And if you listen to the Star Wars Time show, the Force will be with you always.